Hey, you guys, happy Tuesday. I'm Trisha Turner. This is Walk Away Wealthy. It used to be anything but average, but as you know, we changed the name of the show about a month ago when we partnered with Mission Matters. And the purpose of the show every week is to bring you positivity, pro tips, how to grow your business, how to succeed in whatever you're doing, maybe not just real estate, but this time we are focusing on real estate, kind of. I got my good friend Ozzie Ramirez with me today. He is like the king of creating wealth, creating passive income, sharing his knowledge, helping others. He gives you the shirt off of his back. And he just came back from a conference that I want to talk about because it was his first time at that conference. And there was a lot of takeaways there that I want him to share with you guys and his energy. And we have an event coming up in about 2 weeks that we want to talk about too. So we got a lot to unpack today. So welcome, Ozzie.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it. Yeah, I would. It seems like the world is just moving at lightning speed. Like everything is just happening right now.
So for you guys that don't know Ozzie, I want him to say where he is in the world, what he does for a living, and how long he's been doing that. Take it away, Ozzie.
I am in Houston, Texas, and it's funny because Trisha, we're in the same city, but it's like two different worlds. Like we could go our whole career and never cross paths. And we cross paths because I think we just love being out there with human beings and we
Yep.
naturally connected. I've been in this business over 17 years. I started in 2005 when I was 25 years old, and I just I failed my way forward. That's probably my whole claim to fame. I just grew up more than everybody else.
So did you start as a real estate sales agent?
Yeah, I actually joined a friend's brokerage. I managed Papacitos Mexican restaurants from like 18 to like 24. Got in at 25. Buddy convinced me this would be the best thing to do, so I jumped in. Realized that it wasn't the best fit at his brokerage. Went and kind of did my own thing under somebody else's brokerage license where I just agreed to pay him a fee.
Yep.
And I kind of took the hard road. I really wish I would have joined a team or a more established brokerage with a lot more training. I wish I would have been around mentors, people like you, people like me to other people right now.
Yep.
And I didn't do that. I beat my head against the wall for a long time until I realized, wow, my way isn't as good as I thought it was. And in the year 2011, so I was about, yeah, so that's 6 years in. Um, I started building my own brokerage. I got my brokerage license, started building my own brokerage, and realized that that wasn't as fun as I thought it was going to be. And I joined Keller Williams, and it was mainly off the Millionaire Real Estate Agent. And I've read that book like 38 times now. It's
Oh
kind of
my
crazy.
gosh.
I
It
love
is a
that
good
book.
book.
Yeah, the newer version that never got released, the 2.0 that never got released. I have a lot of the back end pages because I was a team leader back in the day.
Yeah.
And it's a book that some of the things are outdated, but most of it, the main message is timeless. And I use it a lot here in our business and things that we do. And so
How long
that's
were
pretty
you
much
at
it.
Keller Williams?
I got there in 2016. I left for a year to go to a company, a different company. I came back and and then I just left in 2021. I moved to EXP in April of 2021.
Okay, so when you were at Keller Williams, you had a pretty good sized team, didn't you?
So I joined in 2014. I don't know if I said that right, but I joined in 2014. And actually, no, when I joined in 2014, truly, it was me. I think I had a buyer's agent, maybe I had a buyer's agent and an administrative person, right? But I really had never taken like listings or anything like that. I think the most listings I
Really?
ever had at one time was like 13 listings, and that was like it was fantastic. Uh, but as a solo agent, I got up to around like 68 transactions a year, pretty much solo, and
Yeah.
then just realized I had no life and it wasn't as fun as I thought it was going to be. Like the money was great, but other than that, it was a bad idea.
You were just running like a lunatic. No
Oh
balance.
yeah, well I had 4 kids, so it's like how do you live a life with 4 kids and closing that many deals without help? And I think it was my family that forced me into to making better decisions with my time and leveraging and getting smarter about my business.
So then when did you start growing your team?
So I got a business coach, which so I actually a friend from high school joined me. She became my buyer's agent. I had another friend from high school became my transaction coordinator, and that kind of just naturally happened. Actually, she was my administrative person for the whole office when I was a brokerage. Then I moved
Okay.
um, to KW, and it she became a transaction coordinator, and then so I got a business coach with KW, and she basically started challenging me. I think the word she was calling me on my bull crap. So she started. I usually cuss, but I'm gonna. so so she's calling me on my crap, and she basically said, "You talk a man game, but you're not living up to like all of that, right? Like you're not living up to your who you are and the hype." And I was like, "Well, okay, what does that mean?" She's like, "Well, you carry yourself as a really top producer, yet you're not." And I was like, "Wow, okay," which I thought I was doing great.
Right.
And but when you get into a larger universe, when you get into larger companies like your KWs, EXPs, all that stuff, you start seeing like there's a whole nother stratosphere of production that I
Oh
have
yeah.
not seen yet.
Yeah.
And I began to realize like, crap, she's right. So in 2014, like November 2014, I had never like cold called per se. FISBOs expires, never done that stuff. And she challenged me. I learned what a dialer system was. I didn't really use it, but I learned how to gather data. And I took that data and I put it to work, and I just started calling people. So from the end of 2014, moving into 2015, I picked up 92 listings in 90 days.
Nice.
And so it was just me calling, just me going on appointments. And it was a tough gig,
I bet.
but it was a big challenge for me. And ever since that day, I realized like, okay, I can't have 92 listings and not have more help.
No.
So I hired my first listing manager in the wake of like in the middle of getting 92 listings. I hired a listing manager. I'm like, I need help. I can't do this myself. And she quit like in the first like 60 days because every time I'd come back in the office, like listing, listing, listing. And finally she said, I can't deal with this. I'm brand new. I don't know what I'm doing. I've been licensed for a short amount of time. And she just quit. So it
Holy
happened.
crap.
That happened a couple times where I ran people off because I didn't know what to do.
So then how big did your team get to?
In that little area, that little time, I think we got to up to like 6 agents maybe,
Okay.
but in the 6 agents, there wasn't a whole lot of structure. I think it's almost like a kid acting like they know about business. So I'm like, yeah, I think I know what I'm doing, but I really didn't know what the heck I was doing. I was so lost, it was
It's
ridiculous.
hard.
But on the outside, everybody's like, "Oh, he's a top producer. He'll do, 40, 50, 60 million this year."
Yep.
And on the inside, it's like, we have no idea what we're doing. Like we're like, what the heck is going on here?
I'm running like a lunatic. I have no idea what tomorrow even brings.
It
Yeah.
was, and so I kind of, I had this mentality of I want to keep a small team, and I don't want a big team, and I want to keep culture and community, and I kind of stayed that way for a while. But it took me years to realize that staying in that realm was a very painful place to be, because if you have 7 or 8 agents or 9 agents, and you're going to have this exodus, I don't care who you are, where three, two,
Yep.
one, 5 agents leave and they decide to go together, and you're like, what happened? When you have 9 and 3 leave, the rest of the building is like, hey, what the heck? Why are we still here? If they left,
Yeah.
why'd they leave? Maybe we should look. And
Yeah.
then you're dealing with this, like, it's not a revolving door, but it feels like it.
Oh yeah.
And it's
And
just
it hurts.
it's a painful place to be. Yeah, because when you're small, you're connected. I'm still connected to
Yeah.
my people. I love my people.
Yep.
But then I realized that it wasn't necessarily the best it wasn't the best place to stay. That culture didn't stay that way. And if I was preaching wealth building and I was preaching a better opportunity in this business, and I had truly talented people who wanted bigger things for their life, I couldn't stay small.
No.
If I played small, my world wasn't going to be big enough for anybody who was any quality talent. If I wanted to keep quality talent, I had to build a universe that could feed their family and help them live their dreams and help them
Right.
live big lives. So here we are. Fast forward, and last year I just got into the recruiting game, and it's been all out.
So when you guys, he moved over to EXP. How many months has it been now?
I started April of 2021, so April.
Oh, so over a year. You're
So
past your
yes,
year
I'm a
marker.
year.
Oh
I'm a
my gosh,
year
that
and
went by fast.
yeah, I moved fast. Year and 3 months.
I was thinking we were coming up on a year. Holy crap! Because I remember when you did it. That is
Oh
freaking
yeah.
awesome. Okay, so when you moved over, how many on your team went with you? How big was your team?
Oh gosh, I think total number was about 12
Okay,
between
and
admin
where?
and salespeople and everything.
Yeah, where are you at now?
We're at 43.
Holy crap!
Yeah, it's
That is awesome. It's
well,
changing
yeah.
lives.
So you know Chep. So
Yeah,
we're John Cheplack and a lot of the people in our little world that we're
yeah,
in. It's always it's understanding that recruiting is the blood life of what we do and bringing people on because new talent want new opportunity and all these things. And um, since when we were smaller, someone would leave and everybody would worry. Now we are, it's two people leave and five people are coming in the door, and people are like, "Hey, we love you guys. We're gonna miss you. Hey, there's five new people. Let's hug them and love them now." And
yeah.
it's always building this new culture that's coming up,
You
and
know,
it
I
just
think
works.
it does, and I think too that when you like, I had my own brokerage, and I will be 4 years in October since I've been with EXP, and it's like when I was a broker trying to do my own thing. I can't give the agents everything that they need. No independent broker can because it's beyond us. Technology is beyond us. The expense is beyond us. You cannot keep up with technology. You cannot keep up with the big dogs. And so when I switched over, the collaboration was like the biggest thing, the game changer for me. And it was like, as a broker, when you go get your broker's license, I believe that it's supposed to be so that you can help the agents live a better life, train them better, give them better tools, give them more opportunity so that they live in abundance. And so, as a broker moving over to EXP, I do believe that we've aligned ourselves with the best real estate company out there. And so, I think it's our duty to be responsibly out there talking to people about people call it recruiting. And yes, I understand that. But really, it's like we're changing lives because
Hmm.
you're left on your own into your own devices. Most agents fail, unfortunately.
Yeah, if you really think about it, like, so one part of it is the wealth building part.
Yep.
If I'm preaching wealth building and any other model, when an agent recruits somebody to the model or brings and it's not even recruiting, as we begin productivity and people start to say, like, wow, look how much business they're doing, they're attracted to it.
Yeah.
So they come and talk to us and we say, well, I'm with such and such a brokerage, and you bring them on and then you get little to nothing for it.
Yep.
But the broker starts making more money and they're happy and they're like, good job, Ozzy, and
Mhm.
that's fantastic. And I realize, like, if I really love my people, I want to give them the opportunity that everybody has. So initially I introduced my people. I said, "Hey, here's Veronica Figueroa. She's a friend of mine. I want y'all to talk to her because we're considering something." And it was like 2 weeks later, and my people, like, they pretty much were like, "We're leaving. You coming with us?" Like, but it wasn't really like that. But we all just kind of collectively started moving in that direction. Next thing you know, we're signed up. We're over, and it's neat to see a year later, I have people that are on my team that have, 7, 8 people in their downline and they're making 500, $600 a month.
Yep.
And it's awesome. Like, cause I mean, it's not huge, but it's a car note. And I don't care
Right.
what anybody says. It's a chunk of change when it's all said and done. And it's an opportunity that you didn't have a year ago with the
Correct.
previous brokerage or the one before that or whatever. And it's neat to see the cohesiveness that gets built, the synergy that gets built, and also the fact that we are changing lives.
Yeah.
We are absolutely lifting these families up.
We are. And like when I joined 4 years ago, or almost 4 years ago, it was different then. Like we were just getting started and the Honey Badger group had just been birthed. And so everything was new. And we went to, I started in October and we went to EXPCon in November. It was in November that year and it was in Louisiana. And I remember it was like, because I was with Jake Hinder and Michael Reese and our little Honey Badger group. And we literally only took up like 2 round tables. That was it because most people didn't come. So and some people had their spouses with them. So it wasn't even all agents or all honey badgers. It was the craziest thing. It was cool, but it was like, I just kind of was sitting back, kind of taking it in like, this is weird. And then they put up their vision slides. The leadership put up the vision slides and they put up 2020 world domination. I was like, oh, holy crap, this is the coolest thing ever. And then the more I got involved in the Honey Badger group, it was like, it makes you have a bigger vision and a bigger vision for your family, and you want to do more and be more. And I remember Michael Reese telling me that often. He was like, Trisha, it's not about making the money. I mean, that's secondary. I don't, that just comes. It's literally about changing lives. I love watching people's lives change. And you're the same way, because even before you went over to EXP, you're always on Facebook Lives. You're always talking about creating wealth and helping agents prospect, create wealth, create passive income. So I want to talk about that a little bit, because that's clearly a passion that you have because you've been doing
Hmm.
this. Where does that come from?
So is it the pat?
Yeah.
Me. Um, Man, I learned at a very young age that like we don't have to be blood to love each other.
Mhm.
Like you can absolutely love people across races, religions, everything. And I was blessed because I a woman came into my life when I was one, and her name is Patricia Canty. Remember that name? She raised me. She raised me from 1 to 17 years old, and the Lord called her home when I was 17, and she just, man, I look at it like I just learned almost not everything. I learned a lot, almost everything from her. She was redhead. She was white, and I was this dark Mexican kid, and she was my mom, and she was just, man, she meant so much to me.
That is so
And
cool.
and for me, it's like I like my whole like as an adult, I've always called her the perfect volunteer because it doesn't get any better. I don't think. And mind you, was she perfect? Oh heck no, man. Like she was insane. Like we were crazy together, but it was perfect.
Yeah.
So, my passion largely comes from I need to show her like, man, you did good. Like you volunteered in the right kid's life. And the passion also comes from knowing like we can make an impact. Like you can impact a stranger's life. Like you can like the little things. And there were just so many little things like, I uh people in Texas don't, so they have sandwiches called fluffernutters. I don't tell people this story a lot. A fluffernutter is marshmallow cream puff with peanut butter in a sandwich. It's called a fluffernutter. And
Okay.
it's a thing like up in Boston where my mom's from, Irish woman, Boston, all that
Yeah.
stuff. Well, she would make me those like on special days and on field trips and stuff like that. She was the field trip mom too. And I just that's one of the little things. It's like she shared what she loved with me because she loved me.
Yep.
So I get to share what I love with the people that I love, and that's really important. And a lot of times it's food. I like food, but but it's real estate. It's anything. I believe that when you truly love people, you share what you love with them,
I
and
think
that's it.
that's cool as crap. And for real estate, as you know, the real estate market has a super high failure rate. And I tell people all the time, you got to pay attention to who you're paying attention to. You've been out there like delivering messages forever, just to anybody that will listen, just to try to
Hmm.
help them with their real estate career. Now that you have stepped into EXP and you've been there for a year, and EXP, in my opinion, is a bunch of people that are the one percenters. They're the givers. They're the one making a difference. How has that changed your messaging, or how has that impacted your life?
You know, there's so many layers and levels to it now.
Oh, yeah.
So one layer and level is we have the AskOzzie.com real estate team, which is like being in my household, right?
Yep.
And then to me, it's like the EXP family is like you're my cousins and uncles and nephews and things like that. And then outside of that, like I coach people from all other brands and things like that. And it's just these different layers of it,
Hmm.
and it's all built in one thing. Just teach everyone everything you possibly can,
Yep.
right? Just teach everyone everything. And it's you know I used to before. I don't know why, and I can't pinpoint 100% when it changed. I do know it was largely around Veronica and the way she ran things, and Cheplack, and you guys and Jenna Turner and all you guys like are like our core group. Like
Yeah.
I began to realize that I was taking all this amazing stuff that I knew about wealth building, about business, about investing, about building a real estate team, about taking it was in a box. And I basically said like, everybody come join me and we'll get in this box together, and
Yeah.
and it just stays with us in the box. And then somewhere along the line, we said, just open the box
Mhm.
and just share it with everybody. Like, just go give it away.
Mhm.
Make YouTube videos and share all of it. Talk to people, do free conferences, do everything. Just give it all away. And what I notice is when you give it away, when you start to show people what it's like to be in business with you before they're ever in business with you, number one, it's the greatest gift you can give somebody because it's like the biggest level of abundance, and it's like there's no scarcity, and we're giving and we're taking care of each other, and it's like sky's the limit. We can all do anything together, and it just becomes so attractive that like you start to find your tribe.
Yeah.
You start to find other people just like you, and it's like we become beacons for each other, and we're all moving together, and it's like nothing I've ever experienced. Like I've been with other brokerages and I've been with other situations. This is amazing. Like I just like we, I've always felt connection. Like I have plenty of people from past brokerages that I've connected with.
Mhm.
This feels like love.
Yeah. Isn't it like you're finally around people that are like you?
Yeah, it's like we get each other. It's like, I like truly, I'm like, Trisha, you're weird and I'm weird, but
Yes.
we're the same kind of weird. And this
Yeah.
makes sense. Like, why don't we all be weird together?
Yes. Like when I first joined after like the first EXP con, and then we did a mastermind shortly thereafter, like I think it was 2 or 3 months later. And so then there was like 60 of us together at the mastermind. It was like I went to heaven. I was like, holy crap, where have these people been my whole life? You
Yeah.
know? It's like, wow, this is so cool. And then you don't even want to leave, you
No,
know?
it's been phenomenal. I've just met a lot of great people and had a lot of great conversations, and it's everybody is sharing their playbook.
Yep.
And there nobody's walking around with this secret sauce, like not sharing it. It's like open the book, let's go, everybody together. And it's it's been a dream.
Doesn't it make you feel like you can do anything and it just makes your vision that much bigger?
I feel like I'm running toward my dream faster than I ever
Yeah.
had have in my whole life.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like it's funny, like the true vision and the dream is in the distance, but because I'm running so fast and in the track, and it's so like vivid and vibrant, like my vision of the dream, that it's like I'm already there.
Mm-hmm.
It's just
Yep.
it's refreshing.
It is. And so I know you've always talked a lot about it, investing, creating passive income. And I know you're big in that.
hmm
This, of course, the EXP model, you can create passive income from helping agents learn how to sell more houses. Do you find that you're shifting your focus more into creating that kind of passive income, or are you doing both?
So I'm still doing both, but so I have people that I've taught and that I grow and that I work with in the investment world. I don't think that'll ever stop. I think it's just something naturally that's there.
Yeah.
But one thing I started learning, so I owned apartment complex, storage facilities, commercial buildings, houses and houses and duplexes and you name it, right? The only thing I've never really owned, I don't think, is like industrial property. I've owned strip centers, like I've owned a lot of stuff. And what I began to realize is that that apartment complex that I own over there in Alvin, Texas, will never go and find me another apartment complex and say, "Hey, look, here's another." It won't go and find me more passive income.
No.
It's great, and I will not knock it. It's a game changer to have like these these
Sure.
these income streams. Yet if I can go and I can find another human being and give them everything I got, and they go find another one and find another one and find another one, it's a different level of exponentialism.
Yep.
And if you look at, so if you go buy an investment house, and let's say you buy a good property, you get it on a hard money, no money down, you fix it all up, and then you refinance out up to like 80-85% as big as you can get it. Then you keep leasing it out. Like you're putting a lot of energy into that thing, and it
Yeah.
does bring you a return for actually a lesser amount of energy, because I got to tell you, like, that kind of work is laborious for me, but the kind of work of human relationships, of just loving people, is very natural to me. So when I'm being in my natural self and just loving people, they're coming in, they're feeling the love, they're building, bringing more people, and it's just it's easier, it's more natural, and it grows so much more exponential. Like it's snowballing now. I think I'm up to like 60 people in my downline in my first year or so, and I didn't even start until like May, June, July, August. I didn't start till about 6 months in. I was like, I'm not recruiting. No, forget
Yeah.
all that. Like I'm gonna do what I do. Production, production. You
Yep.
know, the revenue share and the stock was like it wasn't my key. My key was
No.
building my team. And then 6 months in, I'm like, hey, hold on. If I really want to build my team, and I just happen to be building my team, and some of the residual goes to EXP by bringing in more people in my EXP downline, why don't I just do that? And
Yeah.
so I really didn't start recruiting until this year. So I'm about 8 months in the recruiting game, and we're up to 60 something people. We're growing every day.
Pretty freaking good.
But it's fascinating to say, wow,
Well,
like,
and I think it feeds your soul.
oh, it does.
Yep. You
You
can
recruit
tell.
more people, they come in, they start collaborating.
Yeah.
Whenever you do it with the right culture and community,
Mhm.
like there's days I don't come into the office. And I get on the group me and I can just hear people just like things are happening and contracts are executing. And
Mhm.
like it's neat because last month, July, I went on a lot of like vacations and all. I was gone like
Good.
24 days out of 30 days a month, or
That's
it was crazy.
awesome.
I was gone. It was good. It was a lot of education, but it was mainly vacations.
Yeah.
And I get back and my inside sales agents they were struggling a little bit, but they put their game plan together and they started working on things. And here we are in August, and they've set 100 appointments
Which is
with
insane.
buyers and sellers in 1 month. Two of them have set an average about
Insane.
50 apiece.
I love it.
And it's all like these two human beings that I brought in, trained them, put them together. They're like best friends too. That's a cool thing too. They go leave to lunch and they
That
come back
is
like,
good.
yeah, let's
Yeah.
go. And a couple of them went to a dance hall on Saturday night this weekend. And we're creating these little communities. It's
Yeah.
one big community, but it's okay for the little communities to go and find their own
Oh, heck
happiness.
yeah.
And
Everybody needs that.
it's so fun to watch.
So how many of them? Okay, so you guys that don't know, so EXP, we have conferences, we have annual conferences, we have semi-annual conferences, we have a lot going on because we believe we're better together. So there's a conference that Brent Gove puts on. It's called the Build Conference, and I think this was year two. It was. I didn't go to this one because I had stuff going on here at the property that we just bought, but I was at last year's one, and I know how awesome it is. So Ozzie was at this one. So Ozzie, I want you to talk a little bit about the Build Conference, and Tony Robbins I know was there. Give us some of your key takeaways and what is something that you left there like, holy crap, I can't believe I just was involved in this.
I think what made it tangible is you have like a Jeff Whitespear who's built a very sizable team and a
Yep.
sizable downline who's living it's like he's living a dream. He's right here in Houston.
Yeah.
He's in our market. He's a buddy of mine. He's a buddy of yours. And
Yep.
and to see him take stage and start telling his story, it's like, man, it's so real and it's right in front of me. And here's the thing is we could possibly have this feeling of, but he's not better than me. And it could turn into this scarcity mindset. But I know the dude.
Yeah.
And he wants me to win as much as I want me to win,
Right.
and I want him to win. So it's like it automatically goes away, and it's like, hell yeah, I'm glad he's on stage, and I love watching him do his thing. That was a big thing.
And when you hear his story too, it's like he's not doing anything that no one can do. Anybody can do it.
Yeah, it's
You
very
know?
it makes it very tangible and
Yes.
real. And Tony Robbins I've never been to Tony Robbins, first time.
I hadn't either.
So
That was my first too.
and he there's this exercise he does with breathing, and I think he called it stacking, and like you're taking this mental place. And it's like this, and it's gonna sound cheesy and corny. If you don't believe in this stuff, that's fine. But I when I play all in,
Yeah.
cheesy, corny or not, I'm gonna participate because I believe how I participate somewhere is hard. If I'm half-assing it here, I'm probably half-assing my relationship with my wife or my kids. So I play 100% full on
Yep.
everywhere I possibly go. So we're in this room full of people, and we're all eyes closed, and we're breathing, and then we're talking about these things, and but it's like 10 minutes in or whatever, and then finally everybody opens their eyes, and I'm crying, and I'm like,
Ah,
where did this dude just take me? Like, what just happened? So it was, and it was really refreshing. Although I don't remember 100% of the exercise, I remember how it made me feel, and I remember the basics of it. And the next day I did it by myself. The next day I just breathe, just take in this beautiful oxygen and just think of your life and what you want to accomplish. And it just gives you so much energy. And then today in the office, I did it with my team in our morning huddle. I was like, let's take ourselves someplace special.
I love
And
that.
so that was a big deal for me. Um, I sat with, so, in these conferences, a lot of people, like, you go in a big conference room and it's this big energy and all that. It's fantastic. Don't miss on that. But you'll find that often in the corners, in let's say you go into like somebody's suite, there's like 80 you, and y'all go to somebody's suite and you sit down and you start masterminding with everybody who's closing 50, 60, 80, $100 million plus in real estate a year, and we all just start bouncing ideas off each other. And those things really get me. Those
Oh yeah.
things are they what I absolutely love about these conferences,
Yep.
because that's when you deep dive, and it's not the surface level education. It's no, 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 no. Tell me everything you did mentally to get you through this. Tell me all the little tips and secrets that are going to help me pull off this stunt just like you pulled it off.
Yep.
And that's very valuable. And so I sat down, I had a really good conversation with Gil Ramos about,
Yeah.
he called it, jab, 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 hook, which is like a Gary V thing.
Yep.
I never heard of it. And he was like, he basically told me, he said, Ozzy, you give away everything. Like, you coach, you train, you're always helping people, you're always pouring to people, but I don't think you're getting a return that you could. And although I don't necessarily do it for the return, I just know I got to give it away before I die. But it's, if we're going to benefit ourselves and we're going to grow through this, or if we're going to bring more people into our flock and build our tribe, you can't just keep jabbing. You got to hook every once in a while.
Yeah.
And that's, so he explained that to me, and I was like, wow, that makes sense. Maybe I should do that. And that was a great conversation. And then, yeah, I sat down with Veronica Figueroa. Like, we sat down on the couch, just kind of off to the side, and we just talked about our journeys and things. And it had nothing to do with business. It had everything to do with just our
Life.
personal journeys and becoming better versions of ourselves. That was powerful. Then I invited everybody out to Papacitos. I managed Papacitos for 6 years, so there's a Papacitos in Dallas. So I said I want to share my one of my favorite places that I love with all of you. Come with me, and we all went to. It was like 20 of us, and we ate at Papacitos, and I made them do it like John Maxwell style. I said I want you guys to ask deeper questions. Let's get to know each other. Like, ask, and I sent them like good leaders ask great questions. The
Yeah.
dinner table conference, and people ask questions. I've sat with people from, um where were they from? There were people from all over. I mean, like
Oh yeah.
Montana, Missouri, Dallas, like Orlando, and we're just connecting and asking great questions. And those are some of the most valuable moments when you go to an event like this.
The energy's off the charts, isn't it?
Oh yeah, the collaboration is
Yeah.
sick.
It's like you can constantly stay engaged. Like when we go to, but even years ago, when we would just go to masterminds, like the only time we would separate was just to sleep. And that usually wasn't till like somewhere between 2 and 4 in the morning. And then you're back up at the crack of dawn in there in the room, you know?
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
don't sleep much, but it's like nonstop. What about this? How'd you do this? It's nonstop just feeding your mind. And people
Hmm.
don't understand that. It's like, that's how you get ahead.
Yeah, somebody's done it before you.
Yeah.
Somebody's going to do it better than you. Somebody will do it after you. You might as well go find all those people and learn from them.
And you said before you wished you would have joined a team or a different brokerage or same, like because you had to you tried to reinvent the wheel yourself and figure it out on your own. And shiny object syndrome is always there. I was the same thing. That was me. Like no one ever said, "Hey, here, try this. Here, do this. Hey, call this." No one ever did. And it was like,
Hmm.
okay, I'm just going to stick my head in the sand. I'm just going to keep grinding then because I know I'm going to make it. I'm just going to have to figure this out. And I did that for years too, like you did. And it was like I don't want anybody to ever have to do like that because it's not fun.
I believe I'm 9 years behind where my life should be,
Me too.
because I didn't find someone like me or like you when I was first in the game.
Same.
I wish I would have just gone and said, "Man, forget my pride. I'm gonna just go learn everything I can." My first 2 to 5 years, just straight knowledge.
Yes.
And then after that, it's, if we stay in business, we got a good relationship, fantastic. If not, I'm gonna ask you politely to release me into the wild, and I'm gonna go do
Yeah.
my own thing. But I think I would have been at least 7 to 9 years ahead of where I'm at right now,
Me
if
too.
I would have done it that way.
And when you think back at, like, I think back, and it's like back then, like, really, I mean, coaching was around, but you didn't really hear of it as much as you do now. Definitely, brokerages didn't offer it for free, and if there was a coach, it was usually a crappy coach, to be quite honest, and you were going to
Somebody
pay
who
them more.
gave up on selling real estate.
Yes, a wage earner that's going to try to show you how to sell over 100 homes, and they have no clue how to do it. It's like, I'm
Yeah.
sorry, but you don't know how to do it yourself, clearly. And
Yeah.
so, and then conferences, there was always like big Tom Ferry things, but like what we do within EXP, that's unheard of. I have never seen anything like that where it's literally just sharing and learning. And most of it's free. We pay for a ticket to get in. That's it.
No, it's we since '05. I mean, the whole industry has changed
Totally. For the
completely.
better.
I didn't have I got in '05. My first coach was in 2014. 9 years.
Right.
So there you go. Behind 9 years,
Yes.
like I said.
Mine was 17,
Oh
2017.
wow.
Yes, it was like there was like bits and pieces here and there, but it really wasn't all in until 2017. That's when I met Jay and Mike. It's like Jay Kinder and Michael Reese, and I joined their organization. That was even before EXP, and it was like that was a eye opener for me. And
Yeah.
so I want to talk about our thing coming up on September 13th, because, like I tell here my agents here in our office, I want all of you there. Number one, it's going to be a game changer for all of you to learn. But it's people that are coming, they're flying in from Orlando. We're here. It's people that are literally going to get up and share. They're going to share something to help you grow your business, grow your mind, and live an abundant life. Can you tell everybody a little bit about the 13th, please?
Yeah, so really it's some of the biggest minds. I like the people you brought from Houston. I also like the people that are coming in. I know a lot of them. I think there's like one or two people I'm like, I don't know who that is really, but I'm going to get to
Yeah.
know them.
Yeah.
And but overall, it's I think what I like about these is I know me and I'm sure you too. We come to bring our A game.
Yep.
So when if you're in the audience of something like this, you're literally going to hear the absolute best things that these people have to say to help you move your business forward. And I think that's powerful. The saddest thing about these type of events is it can't last like 7 months. It's because we could fill it up. Like
Yeah.
we could talk forever. I know, but you're going to fit like the greatest conversations into 15 to 30 minutes that you can get out of some of the biggest producers. And I think the common theme for all of us, I don't know anybody on the panel that's a rookie. I think
No.
everybody that's on is like a tried and true seasoned veteran.
Yes.
And I think all of us are still in the trenches. Like nobody
Yes.
has completely stepped out of the business or is strictly a coach.
No.
And I
And
think that's the value.
I think so too. And the event, it starts at 9 o'clock in the morning. It'll end at 2 in the afternoon. It's at Katie Vibes. It's September 13th. You're going to see us. We're going to start running ads for it, because we do believe, especially right now, when you go through a market shift, and like Ozzie and I have been doing this for a long time, but for you agents that have just got in the business a year or 2 years ago, or even three, you have no idea what a real estate market is like, because we just went through COVID and the pandemic, and that was a totally untapped market that we'd never seen before. But there's been downshifts. There was a really bad one in '08, and then there was another
Hmm.
one in 2015. And people don't remember those things, or they maybe weren't in the real estate business, but these things happen. And you know what? The strong survive and thrive and
Hmm.
do great things. And those that don't align themselves with strong people and don't try to go deep in their education, they struggle. And some of them leave the industry, unfortunately.
Well, and you look at this and build and the other things we go to, we're in rooms full of people that aren't theorists.
Yeah.
Like we're I'm not going to get in a room with you and teach you all the things I read in a book. I'm not going to teach you all the things I got in a podcast. What I'm going to do is I'm going to teach you the crap that I went through. Like we're in the trenches and we're teaching you, hey, if you're smart enough, if you're open-minded enough, just take this gift and don't get your ass whooped like I did. Please, can we do that? And
Yeah.
that's all it is, and it's amazing.
It is. And I was listening to I listen to podcasts every day, and I was listening to one the other day, and he was going on and on about being successful and living in abundance. And he said, but here's the thing, you guys, there's no like secret to it other than you have to do the work. Like, it isn't just going to fall in your lap. You literally have to do the work.
I I I'm gonna spoil it, but a lot of times I may not. Usually, I open up with this. I say, "Guys, I'm about to piss you off. Are y'all ready?" And they say, "Yeah." And I say, "Here's the deal. I'm gonna be honest. So there's what 100, 200, 500 people in this room, or whatever there's in there." And I say, "Well, however that number is, 95% of you ain't going to do crap with what you learned today. And they're going to, you hear like the room, oh, what is he saying? This guy's a jerk. And I, whatever. And I say that with purpose. And the purpose is this. I hope I just punched a few of you in the heart so you get off your ass, you get emotional, and you go do something. So maybe we can take that 95% down to like 80, and
Yeah.
20% of you will actually get up and go make some stuff happen, because
Yep.
we're not sharing this to fall on, idle ears. Like we are sharing this so you will get up and go do, so
Yep.
you will give your family a better life, so you'll become the best version of yourself, so that kids get to go to college if they want to do that, or maybe this extra work will give you that vacation that you never got to have, so you can find some peace and be with your family. Whatever that is, that's why we're here.
Yep. I love that. Oh my gosh. And you know what? You're right, because most people leave a conference and they don't implement anything. They take lots of notes and they never look at those notes. They don't do anything.
It's true. Action. Just take action. You're going to
Yep.
screw up. It'll never be perfect. You might as well screw it up today instead of 10 years from now.
So, Ozzy, I always like to get some pro tips before we have to close out. So, if you were teaching a brand new agent or even a seasoned agent, what are 3 tips that you would tell them they need to focus on to get through this shifting market and to carry their business forward?
So I'm a firm believer that there's a lot of people that were spoiled. You were saying it in the past 2 years. If you just got in, you're freaking spoiled, whether you believe it or not.
True.
Here's the deal. A lot of people, you've taken to social media, your TikTok, your YouTube, all that stuff's fantastic. And then I'm not going to tell you to stop it. What I'm going to tell you is it's going to take 10 times more to get a basic result. Truly, those of us who are going to see the greatest results and are going to come out on top are those of us that understand that your business should be prospecting based and marketing enhanced. What I mean by that, people say prospecting. Oh, I don't want a cold call. Stop, stop. That's not what I mean. Marketing and advertising is putting out a message and then kind of waiting for things to happen, right? Call to action and hoping things to happen. True prospecting is getting on the phone and calling someone,
Yeah.
taking someone to lunch, going to a networking event and being face to face, supporting your kid's school with all the
Yep.
teachers and meeting them face to face. It's going out and proactively having a conversation, whether it's text, email, Zoom call, face to face, phone, whatever it is, that is prospecting. So don't mistake prospecting for cold calling, and that's what often happens. They get
Yeah.
grouped. Prospecting is going out there and mining. So prospecting, mining for your gold and what's going to make you successful. And the biggest part I can add to that is what I teach people is habit, skill, pipeline. First, you focus on the habit, and I'm telling you how dangerous this is. I've met some of the greatest salespeople that I consider ever in this industry, and they can sell anything. They can sell ketchup, popsicle, and a woman in white gloves. All those little sayings about
Yes.
salespeople, right? But the problem is their habits suck. So what happens is they get on this roller coaster: closings, 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 no closings, closing, closing, closings, no closings, and it's those no closings, those valleys, that get those amazing gift of gab salespeople in so much trouble where they cannot sustain and they get the heck out of the business.
Yeah.
If you can, I'll take a person who's habitual and can stay on the phones and lead generate and prospect and build business and not have the gift of gab over the person with the gift of gab and bad habits, because the gift of gab will be coming back to me every month or two asking for a loan, when the person with habits will not have to do that. So when you build your habit, your skill will come. If you stay on the phones and you stay having conversations and building relationship, your skill is going to come.
Yeah.
But it has to start with a habit. Habit breeds a skill. The skill will build a pipeline. That pipeline can feed your family for the rest of your life if you stay in your habit.
I love that.
That's the game changer.
I love that. I hope you guys paying attention to this are taking notes and then taking action, because Ozzy's been doing this for a long time. You hear his numbers. He's amazing. He's got great energy, but he has a soul. He's compassionate. Like, he really wants to help agents do more and be more. And I love that. You know what I think is super cool is that Gil Ramos and Carlos Gurman, who are coming from Orlando, and the Sotos, they're coming from Orlando for the event on the 13th. And they are all in the same market right there in Orlando. So,
Hmm.
like, just like us here in Houston, they're in the same market there in Orlando. They collaborate together. They're building this huge thing together because we're better together. And I'm super excited because we can do that in Houston now. And I'm just like crazy excited for, sky's the limit for us, period.
I love it. To me, Orlando and Houston are like sister cities,
Totally.
and I love that. Like it's like a transplanted family is like coming to hang out with
Yes.
us. It's
Yes.
crazy.
I'm excited. So you guys pay attention. So number one, we want you at our event. It's September 13th, Katie Vibes, 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. You're going to see the ads running. Make sure that you're there. It's called Open Book. You guys, it's everybody opening their book. This is what we do. This is how we do it. This is what you need to do. If you want to grow your business and learn how to really take your real estate business to another level, make sure that you're there. If you want to reach out to Ozzie, what's the best way? Ozzie?
So I have a cell phone number, and I'm okay with you texting me 713-201-4089, or Ozzy at askozzy.com is usually going to be one of the simplest ways to get a hold of me. I leave my calendar open for appointments. I use Calendly. I send people the link, they book time, and we spend time getting to know each other.
Heck yeah, I love it. Thank you for being here today, Ozzy. You're
No,
amazing.
I'm extremely blessed to be invited to the event and be on with you guys. I'm blessed to be on this conversation today, and I really appreciate you. And I love seeing your growth and your family and all the things that you're doing. And it makes me just happy to watch all these come together. I can't wait to hang out with you.
Oh, heck yeah. You know what I really can't wait for too is this event center here on this property where I'm at right now to be done with the build out because then we're really going to have a whole game changer. Then we can do our own events whenever we want.
I'm gonna go hit the building with champagne. We're gonna bless it.
Heck yeah, you are. You guys have an awesome day. We will see you on September 13th at the open book event.
Thank you so much. I'll
You're
talk to you
welcome.
later.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.